What is up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Doom Goblin, and today I'm coming in with a triple DNA bomb on retreat, brought to you guys by Doom Garge. Now, as some of you may know, Garge is going to be away for a while, and, he's basically in military training. I believe he lives in Finland, and there it is required for everybody who is physically capable or mentally capable or anything like that to partake in basic military trainings. Then they could be in the draft, and they could be sent off to, quickscope people in Afghanistan and shit like that. So, Garge is off for a little while doing, military things, such as making crumpets. I guess that's what, the Finnish military does, because you never really hear about Finland getting into many wars. So, they're probably, making crumpets, drinking tea, playing the trombone, typical Finnish military things. So, definitely drop a like on this video in honor of Garge. Let's really give him some love that he'll probably never know about, because he'll probably never see this video. But, either way, let's just give him a warm Finnish hug and a crumpet on a plate, because that's what he's doing in the military. So anyways, definitely drop a like on this awesome triple DNA bomb. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and be telling you guys a story. Now, the story I'm telling you guys today is about when I egged somebody's house. However, it's not the typical egging where it was just really straightforward, because at the beginning of this night, we didn't intend to do this, but, shit happened. My water bottle just, popped. Excuse me. You know what? Let's take a sip of water. If you have a water next to you, everybody, cheers. Here, I'll kind of, clink it against my mic. There we go. Okay, cheers. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. So, basically, like I said, I'm telling you guys about a story when I egged someone's house. However, it wasn't a typical thing, because this was on Halloween. And, when I went out for Halloween on this particular day, I didn't really want trouble or anything. I just kind of wanted to chill out and, enjoy Halloween, I guess. I didn't want to, egg somebody's house. I didn't want to, go steal little kids' candy. If you do that, you're a dickhead. But, I'm not that kind of guy. I don't want to kidnap people. That's not my thing. I don't want to, go on a mass murder spree. That's not my thing. I don't want to make crumpets. That's not my thing. So we were just kind of walking around, me and a couple of the friends on Halloween, looking for shit to do. Occasionally, if we saw a bowl of candy, we dump the whole bowl in our bags and continue along. The typical hooligan kind of thing to do. Walk by a bunch of little kids, and there were Halloween parties in our neighborhood. However, none of them really seemed appealing to us. Sure, we could have gone to them. Sure, we probably would have had a fun time. Maybe met some young ladies, but we decided to fuck around outside instead. So we're walking, and there is a freshman named Carter. Now, I'm a sophomore in high school. This kid is a freshman, right? And me and this kid have a bit of beef. We fought at a football game. It was only about 10 seconds long, because they separated us because I may or may not have put him into a headlock. I plead the fifth. So, of course, this kid doesn't like me. I don't like him. He's a little shit. And he's really small. However, he's very cocky. So, he'll make, remarks in the hall, but I can't, just punch him in the hall, because I'm at school and I'm not trying to get, suspended or in trouble, because, I don't know, I just don't want my parents, hitting me with the iron belt again. I don't want to remember that. So, naturally, I'm going to try to, avoid trouble with this kid, and I'm just whatever. And he's walking by us on Halloween. We see him up ahead. One of my friends points him out, and it's me and three other guys, and he's with these two girls. Now, I use the term girl loosely for the people he was with. I don't know if they were girls or not. They, I guess they were females. They appeared to be female, but they were, how do I put this? They were burly. They were broad young women, very broad-shouldered. They had the bodies of lumberjacks. They looked like 45-year-old plumbers who had just been out plumbing all day. Plumbing, excuse me. I can't fucking talk. Hold on. Yo, time out. Everyone take a time out. All right. Time in. Let's go. So, now that I can talk, thanks to that time out, they look like plumbers. Pretty much. They were not the most desirable women in the world, hence why he was probably with them. He's not the most desirable guy in the world. So, he walks by me, of course, wanted to look cool to his women, wanted to look really, really badass, really suave, really smooth. He walks by me and he goes, fight me, bro. And then he keeps walking, and I'm like, okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is unacceptable. Me and my friends, we hear it. We're like, okay, something's going on, because we didn't intend on starting shit with him, especially me. My friends were egging me on and encouraging me to just, punch him when he came by, but I didn't really want to. I just wanted to chill out and enjoy Halloween and, not go around punching freshmen for my Halloween, October 31st. That wasn't really my idea. So, this kid walks by, he says, fight me. I'm like, okay. All right, now the tables have turned. Now I'm very unhappy. He just keeps walking. He crosses the crosswalk, and we stand at the stop sign because we didn't want him to hear what we were saying. We were discussing, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna fucking jump this kid? Are you gonna fight him? What are we gonna do? Because he can't get away with these shenanigans. We can't allow him to get away with this. So eventually, we decide we're just gonna scare the living fuck out of him. So you know, what we do is we start walking in his direction a tad bit faster than he was going, and he caught on pretty quick. He started, like, pacing really fast ahead of the two girls he was with, and they, of course, they were like 45-year-old plumbers. Their knees were probably like breaking or had already been replaced by like iron knees. If you guys have ever heard of that, I had a neighbor who he fucked up his knee and half of it's like metal now because they just replaced it with surgery. So, you know, these people were like limping along, and then this kid, the little Carter kid's just all the way up there, and eventually, you know, we get to the next crosswalk, and he's crossed, and we're waiting for a car to go, so he runs back to the girls as fast as he can, whispers something to them, which presumably was something about what we were doing or us following them. They look back with a look of terror. It's as if, like, the local, like, Dollar Tree just shut down, and they, like, thrive off of welfare checks, and the local Aldi burned down last week, so they're just completely boned now. Like, they have to shop at good stores, such as, like, Target, and they just can't believe it. So they look back with a look of absolute like horror and terror on their face, and they run, and I use the term run loosely as well because the two girls couldn't really run. They just kind of like, they speed walked, but they did like a running motion. And then the Carter kid, he was running because he was like a really twiggy little guy, so the one thing he could do is run. So, you know, of course we start jogging after him. We didn't want to like full out sprint, but I have a friend named Jason with me, and this kid literally would probably put like the track star to shame. This kid's fast as shit, and I'm pretty sure that Jason hated Carter more than I did, and he never fought Carter, no clue why. He just always didn't like him because he's like one of those kids who, like, when you see them, you just want to hit them. If you guys, like, everyone has that kind of person. You see someone, you don't even have to say a word to them, you just want to hit them. Like, you know, for example, like, Oprah Winfrey walks by. Let's say Oprah's like your trigger, and, you know, she walks by and you just clock her in the fucking jaw, just like knock her the fuck out. It's like that, you know, that's how we felt. So, you know, Jason just goes bolting after him, and he's about to catch up with this kid. He gave this kid a huge head start by a couple crosswalks, you know, a couple blocks, and this kid's gone, and Jason's catching up to him really fucking fast. So I'm like, alright, okay. Shit's going down now. You know, Jason doesn't catch him, and eventually he disappears. However, we know where he lives. So we go to the local convenience store. We cop about 4 things of eggs. A guy gives us a filthy look, the cashier. He knew what we were up to. We didn't care. You know, he just told us to have fun and be safe. So I'm like, all right. Thank you, man. So we go to this kid's house, right? It literally, I swear to God, they were on like full lockdown, like red fucking alert. Like, he had all his parents posted on the fucking windows, probably with like AK-47s ready to shoot us and shit. He probably, we knew he was in the house because we saw him in the upstairs window as we were walking up to the house, right? And it was like, okay, how are we going to do this? We want to egg the shit out of his house, but we can't get, like, seen or detected. And all the windows are open, the lights are on, like, blaring out into the front and backyard. So we're like, alright, we got to do some, like, Navy SEAL shit. We wanted to make sure it was his house first, not a friend's. So what we did is we rang the doorbell, or we sent one of our friends up to ring the doorbell to confirm that his parents were his parents, because, you know, you can always tell when someone's someone else's parent. And, you know, it was confirmed. We were like, alright, this is their fucking house. So what we did is we literally laid down. We were on some fucking, like, COD 4 Wasteland ghillie suit shit. I swear to God, it was like Salt McTavish and Captain Price out in, like, the local backyards of freshman children in my town, just ready to, like, egg people instead of like crawling between entire like Russian units of like armies, if you guys ever played that COD 4 mission. So, you know, we're army crawling into his backyard. You know, we managed to unlock the fence because his fence is like 2 feet tall. I don't even know why they put a fucking lock on it if you can just undo it from the other side. So we're crawling, and the back doors, or the back windows, excuse me, are wide open. We have 4 things of eggs. We unload them out of the bags. I'm like, all right, let's just give it a shot. We throw like 1 or 2, and we hear the front door open. The front door of the house opened. We knew someone was coming in to, like, flank us here. They probably had, like, an AK-47 ready to just mow us the fuck down, and they were just, like, going to shoot us with Nerf guns, which is probably the more realistic thing because this kid's a complete and utter pussy. So, you know, we hear the front door open, and then the back door opens, and split-second reaction, we fucking leap the fence to our right because we were clinging to the right side of the yard to throw the eggs, and we were, like, crouching, and we leaped the fence. You know, we were just running, climbing fences, jumping, running everywhere we fucking could, and we only used about 5 eggs. So we still had 4 containers, almost 4 containers of eggs left, and we're like, what the fuck are we gonna do with this? Because this kid, like, we couldn't go back there. They were on, like, extra red alert now. They probably had, like, cops posted out in, like, the treehouse with fucking snipers, and they just, like, shoot our fucking brains out if we got into like a 20-mile radius of this kid's house. So we're just walking around, and we decide we're gonna loop back and go for a round 2. We're gonna go for like it's like an AC-130. We're going for another bombing run. So, you know, we swoop back by, and we're crouching across the street at this point. Like, we are just absolutely ready, posted, absolutely ready to strike. You know, one of my friends throws the egg, and it lands square on the windshield of the Mercedes in their driveway. And this was a nice fucking car. Like, you could tell this car was probably worth at least like 60, 70 grand, like bare, like minimum, probably more than that, probably a lot more than that, but I'm not good at like estimating prices. So we nail the windshield of the car and we throw a couple more and the car alarm goes off. So we just fucking bolt, we're gone. Next day we get called down to the office at school and we got 3 p.m. schools, which is basically double detention. And, PM schools last for about an hour and a half, and I'm surprised none of us got suspended. But, yeah, that's my story for today. Just a quick little story. Drop a like and comment if you guys enjoy. Actually, that wasn't a quick story. That was like 11 fucking minutes. Holy shit. So either way, drop a like and comment on this video. If you guys want to hear more stories or what you want me to talk about here on the Doom channel, check out Garge and myself in the description below. And, once again, let's just pray for Garge making crumpets in like the Finnish barracks, the Finnish slums of the army base over there in Finland. Salute to Garge. Have a fun time reverse boosting at army camp. And thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.